Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Manufacturing South Carolina. We are up to episode number 13 if you are keeping score. And as always, I am your host, Rick Jenkins. Two guests will be joining me today, including Heather Bass. She is the Vice President and General Manager at Carolina Process Equipment Cleaning. They are a division of Carolina Filters, and we will get to Heather shortly. But first, we're going to start with a segment we do from time to time called From the Factory Floor. It gives us a chance to talk with an advanced manufacturing executive while they are at their facility. Todd Kingsbury will be joining us virtually. He is the plant manager at the Timken Company. But before I get to Todd, I do want to give a shout out to our friends at HTI. As always, they are the presenting partner of the From the Factory Floor segment, making it possible for us to bring this content to the state's business and manufacturing communities. HTI began as a professional recruiting firm for auto manufacturers way back in 1999, and today they are an industrial staffing firm, an executive search firm, and they provide a wide variety of HR solutions for manufacturers and other industries as well. Thanks again to HTI for being the presenting sponsor of From the Factory Floor. And now I'm joined by Todd Kingsbury. He is the plant manager at the Timken Company. Todd, welcome to the show.
Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Todd, it's good to have you. I believe that you are out at your facility in Honeypath. Do I have that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
So you have worked for Timken gosh, what has it been? It's been 15 years, but you've been the plant manager for 6 years.
That's correct. Actually, next week will be my 6th-year anniversary here at Honeypath.
How about that? Congratulations. Why don't you tell us what Timken does?
Timken manufactures taper roller bearings as our primary product offering, but we manufacture products across a wide range of industries and products such as belts and engineered chains in some of our other facilities. We got our start with the tapered roller bearing. Tapered roller bearing is what you would commonly find in like an automotive pickup truck wheel end or a tractor wheel end if you've ever worked on a vehicle. Very common in those applications, but goes into many different products and applications around the world.
You know, I just read here recently, Todd, that Timken was named to Fortune's list of the most innovative companies in the country. That's a pretty good list to be on these days.
That is a fantastic accolade, and we're very proud of that. You know, one of our core competencies is the ability to have a deep understanding of our customers and then engineering solutions for some of their most demanding applications. It could be the bearings that have to operate in the extreme atmospheric conditions. When you launch a rocket into space, then it's got to travel through the extreme cold of space only to land on Mars and then operate on a foreign environment like Mars, all the way to a bearing that's used in more common applications like a automotive electric vehicle.
Todd, tell me who uses your all's products. I mean, what industries do you serve? Where's your sweet spot?
Yep. So again, Timken manufactures bearings for all kinds of industries. Some of the ones we're most commonly found in would be aerospace and automotive applications, commercial vehicles like a heavy truck, construction, mining, agriculture, marine, like motor on a boat, up to Navy vessels. And then just general industrial purposes are among the several industries that we serve.
Yep, a little bit of everything. Going back here for a second, I'd said that Fortune put you on the list of their most innovative companies. If I remember right, you actually made that list 2 years in a row, so congratulations on that. But sticking with innovation, there are a few things that all successful manufacturers have to do these days. One, they do have to be innovative. They have to automate. They have to make sure that they're operating as efficiently as they possibly can, and they have to keep up with safety protocol and that type of thing. Are these, I would assume, the types of things that you deal with as a plant manager every day, top of mind stuff?
Absolutely. It all goes together. We have to be able to juggle all of those balls on a daily basis. And, we've been investing over the years in the ability to improve our operations and the efficiency. What we do here mainly is grinding of the components that we manufacture. And the principles of grinding really haven't changed over the years, but the way you control the grinders has. So we've done things like invest in servo motors to replace hydraulics. Hydraulics are messy. you've got increased maintenance costs, you've got increased downtime. The servos really allow us to improve our uptime, reduce our maintenance costs, and it also gives us the ability to hold tighter tolerances and make a more precision product. Honeypath is a low volume, high mix operation. So we do a lot of changeovers. Automation has been a challenge to fit into that environment. But where we do use automation is strategically for things that are safety or ergonomic risks. So if it's a really heavy part, rather than have a person handle that, we'll use a robot, right? So it eliminates that safety and ergonomic risk and allows the person to do something that's more value added in the interim.
More and more robots are being used these days, and one of the reasons that we have to keep those as an option is sometimes it is difficult for manufacturers like yourself to hire good talent. Workforce is always a challenge in your industry. How are you all faring?
We are doing very, very well right now with our workforce. We've been pretty stable at our headcount for the last year or so, but we still need to hire. We still have some positions that we need to fill. We're also looking at, even though automation traditionally hasn't been a good fit for our environment, as technology improves and advances and automation becomes a bit more flexible and a little bit easier to implement, we are looking at areas where we can also implement automation now to offset some of the labor cost or redeploy our labor to more value-added activities. So we have active projects looking at things like cobots. Is there a fit in the factory? Where could we use them? You can integrate a cobot more seamlessly than of an industrial robot, right? It doesn't take up as much space. It can work alongside an individual. So we're looking at those types of technologies to better balance the workload, as well as kind of manage also the challenging labor environment, even though we've been pretty fortunate with the labor here at Honeypath.
Well, that's good to hear. Todd, I'm going to get you out of here on this. We were talking not too long ago, and we talked a little bit about what you call the TMOS, the Timken Manufacturing Operations System. Tell me about that.
Sure. So that's the heartbeat of our operation. That's our daily cadence. I'd say a little bit over 10 years ago, it was before I got here, the team recognized that, we really needed to improve our operations, make it more efficient, take out cost, become more competitive. And in the past, we had applied different lean tools, but they really didn't stick. And what we realized is we needed to really focus on the culture first and then implement the lean tools. So we got our culture right, our values, our principles, our thinking structures, our daily behaviors and routines. How do we operate each and every day? And then after that, we started, implementing the lean tools. And ultimately, that becomes the Timken Manufacturing Operating System. That's what we do every day. It's really centered on two pillars. The first one would be leadership and leadership development. We've got to have a strong pipeline of leaders and people that are willing to step up every day and lead other people to do the right thing. And then having proper problem awareness or problem solving. So the ability to recognize your gaps and then problem solve them efficiently is really the root of driving continuous improvement. So we really focus on those two things with TMOS. And it's been a world of difference for us. We are operating at probably the highest efficiency we've operated in the history of the plant. We've seen, anywhere from 5 to 10% year-over-year productivity gains since we've implemented this.
Well, it is no wonder that Fortune names you to their most innovative company list, and they've done it 2 years in a row. Todd, really good stuff. I appreciate you joining.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
And folks, I want to thank again HTI, or Human Technologies Incorporated, again for being the partner with us on all of the From the Factory Floor segments. We could not put that segment out without those guys' help. So thank you, HTI, for helping to make it possible, for bringing that content to the manufacturing community in South Carolina. All right, folks, next up is Heather Bass. Heather is the Vice President and General Manager at Carolina Process Equipment Cleaning. They call it CPEC, Carolina PEC, or it's a division of Carolina Filters. And this, folks, is another monthly segment we do called Taking the Lead, Executive Women in Manufacturing. This segment is produced in conjunction with our friends at AFL. AFL products are sold in more than 130 countries, Get this, folks, they have operations in Mexico, they have them in Europe, they have them in Asia, they have them in Australia, they have them in Canada, but you know what? They are headquartered right up the road in good old Duncan, South Carolina. We appreciate AFL for making it possible to bring this segment, Executive Women in Manufacturing, to the business and the manufacturing communities in South Carolina. And now, Heather Bass, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, you are very welcome. Tell me where you are right now, Heather.
So I'm in my office in Sumter, South Carolina at our facility.
Now, you have been with Carolina Filters for about 5 years now. Do I have that right?
Yes, that is correct.
And the specific group, Heather, that you're with is Carolina Peck. Is that right? Which is a division of Carolina Filters.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. All right. How long you been doing that job?
So I've been leading this division for about a year now. I came over in 2020 as a technical director, working with operations, doing some process optimization, and kind of learning the customer technical support side. Then, after about a year and a half of that, I moved into a direct customer servicing technician in the field. And then in April of last year, I took over as vice president and general manager of the process equipment cleaning division.
That sounds like a big job. Give us that quick elevator speech on what the division does, as well as Carolina Filters.
Great. So Carolina Filters is a suite of three different divisions in the filtration space. Carolina Peck Process Equipment Cleaning, what we're doing is we're focusing in on cleanable metallic filtration and processing parts. So certain industries around the state and around the country, when they're processing more aggressive materials, high temperature materials such as polymers, oil and gas, they're running these materials through these very expensive metallic filters. And in order for them to more economically run, they opt to clean these filters. So we're one of very few people in the United States that perform the cleaning and the testing and the assembly and disassembly of these filtration systems.
You know, manufacturing, we've got great jobs. They have great perks. They have great benefits. And you know what? They pay really well. Why are we having so much problem hiring folks, and how are you all faring?
That is a very good question. That is on the top of all of our lists of every time we have a conversation. It really goes down to trying to keep your valued employees happy, keep them cared for. We are a family-owned company, and we try to instill a family-owned values with our personnel. I think that oftentimes it's difficult because there is so much competition in this arena. There's other plants. The manufacturing industry in South Carolina is expanding so incredibly fast, and there are limited resources. So I think honestly, it's probably trying to strengthen the pipeline of those folks that are coming up. I don't think you can do that when you start at 22, 23. I think that starts when the upcoming workforce is very young, and trying to instill those values that manufacturers are looking for and into the youth, and trying to get them to understand what their industries have to offer around.
I want to get back to the youth in a second because I think that's a great topic and I want to spend a little time there. But first, I want to back up a sec. We're talking about the acquisition of new employees, but also the retention of current employees. And let's face it, it's a lot cheaper to retain a current employee, as long as they're doing a good job, right, than it is to go out and find new employees. Do you all do you invest in retaining your current employees?
Yes, we do. We try to keep our hourly rates very competitive and our salary rates very competitive in the area, but you have to extend beyond that and understand that the work-life balance with your employees is very important to the newer generation coming into the workforce, and being able to make accommodations for that. So trying to flex schedules and trying to look at different ways where you can accommodate those individuals. We're lucky enough to be able to run a 5-day work week. And so we have the stringent schedules that some manufacturing companies have to keep running 24/7. And so that kind of gives a little bit more work-life balance for our group. And we find that that's one of the reasons they would stay with us.
Let's head back, Heather, to the topic that you brought up, and that is the youth. And I think we all know that in the manufacturing world, that we need to expose the youth to the job possibilities and the career possibilities that exist within the industry as quickly as we can. Because let's face it, this ain't your daddy's manufacturing anymore. The manufacturing jobs today look a lot different. They are in facilities that are so clean you can eat off the floor, and we need to make youth aware of the possibilities. How do you do that?
So one of the things I've been very passionate about is being present in the community, in the school systems, starting back my time before Carolina Filters, really volunteering within classrooms, explaining what manufacturing. Before I was here, I spent 15 years in polymer manufacturing, and really trying to show the youth that there is something else that you can do other than leave the state, that you can opt not to go to college, that technical degrees and going straight into the workforce is a very viable option for some. And I expanded upon that. I'm actually lucky enough to be on the board of directors at our local charter school at Liberty STEAM Charter. And one of the values that I sit on the development committee, and one of my jobs is to bring the industry in Sumter and surrounding areas into the classroom. So really showing that STEAM workforce and connecting those industry pathways with youth as young as kindergartners. So not only are we getting manufacturing into the classrooms, we're taking those children out of the classrooms and into the manufacturing floor so they can see what's available for them, and also reinstilling the core values of what everyone would look for in a future employee.
That's great stuff, Heather. I'm glad to hear that. We have to continue to work hard to make those kids understand that, wow, what a great career you can get in this industry. Heather, I'm going to get you out of here on this. You have a role in an industry that is not often filled with female executives. How has your experience coming up the ranks in the manufacturing industry, what has it been like? Has it been a challenge for you?
Oh, absolutely. I was always my education is in chemistry, and coming up when I was younger, I was very I loved science, and coming up through school, I felt that would lead to me becoming a teacher and teaching science. I tried to when I was able to see that I could work into a manufacturing environment, I started out as a chemist, and early on, being one of, as I was excelling through those ranks, being one of the only women at the table, you have to come with a lot more data. I have found you prove yourself a little bit more. So always being prepared. I always felt that had to really prove myself, especially when I was much younger in the industry. When I was very young, as leading a major department in polymer manufacturing area, really having to prove myself there, and then moving over into this area, having to prove myself a little bit more. But once you get that, then they know that you deserve to be at the table, and you can really make some good changes and good difference.
Any advice, Heather, for young women who are just getting into this industry or trying to climb the ranks?
Absolutely. Don't be intimidated. Don't let anyone else intimidate you. You know your work, and you know your worth, and to fight for that worth, and to continue to excel.
Good advice, folks. That is Heather Bass. She is the Vice President and General Manager at Carolina Peck. They are a division of Carolina Filters. And once again, I want to thank our friends at AFL for being the presenting partner of this segment, Taking the Lead, Executive Women in Manufacturing. Heather, thanks again for joining us today. And folks, thank you all to joining us on another episode of Let's Talk Manufacturing. We'll see you again next time.